Hey Kevin, how's it going? How's your Sunday? Hey Allison. Not bad. Not bad at all. Can't complain. It's rainy. I mean, I can't complain. It's rainy and cold here in Michigan. So, but it's that time of year. Just kind of drawing out where I want my mouth and the chin to be. I think I need to bring this down a little further, give more area for the chin. So that's what I'm going to work on today. Hey Matt Carves, how's it going? Cool live you had today. I listened to it while I was driving for the most part, and really enjoyed it. So what I am attempting is, I've never carved it before, but the creature from the Jeepers Creepers horror movie, I am attempting to do my interpretation of him on wood. I'm going to bring this down some more. Yeah, Kevin, that movie is an older movie. I just really like the guy's face. So now that I've got the forehead and the eyes somewhat in place, the nose in place, I drew in kind of where I want the mouth to be, but he's got a pretty pointy chin that comes down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move everything down a little bit more just to make more room for the chin, because I feel like it needs to start a little bit further down and come to a deeper point. Hey Anthony. So that's what I'm going to work on right now for a little bit. Taking some of this down. Actually, what I think I will do real quick is I'm going to extend. So the picture that I'm going off of, just so you guys have an idea. So that's the forehead, of course. It's little flaps of skin hanging out right up here. And then he has flaps of skin on his side. Well, where his beard would be, yeah, it was a good live, Matt. It really was. So this part right down here, that's not going to be a beard. That's going to be the representation of flappy skin. And the mouth and the rest of the face is kind of sunk in behind that skin. So I'm actually going to extend this down just a little bit more to make room for what I want to do. I need to buy a, hey two dudes, I need to buy a quick release or something for these bits. Hey Gerald, hey Shelly, how you doing? Thank you guys for being here. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button on the way in or out. Appreciate it. So the pumpkin carve I did, I had a blast on that. That was fun. And that kind of inspired me wanting to try and do this. So that's what brought me into it. But I do need to take this down a little further. Putting this tool to work. Alright, I think that'll be good for about right now. I want to carve this mouth out when I get to it, so I can put teeth in it. I want to carve teeth in it, and I think that's going to be awesome. I haven't figured out quite how I'm going to carve that yet, but it will be happening. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and undercut this part a little bit more to make it look like it's got some separation in here on both sides. Maybe take it slightly deeper, just to give it the depth once I get the face and the chin in. I've never carved this guy, so this is all going to be trial and error. It's either going to end up being a really ugly wood spirit or really cool. One of the two. But either way, you're not going to know unless you try. Hey, Josh Fritz. Hey, Dad. Hey, Alan. All right. So I want to do something here. Oh, that happens a lot. Hey, Aiden, how you doing? So I don't think I want his mouth to be so round. I think I'm going to give it more of a slanted oval. Look, I'm just trying to get that into place right now. So I can try and figure out the chin. And actually, I don't want to use this burr. I'm going to use something else. Because while I want to kind of go deep on the lips, I don't want to go too deep. And I don't want to tear out a lot of stuff because I'm going to try to, when I get to that point, save some meat to carve in some teeth. And that's one area I'm not great at, is mouths, but we're gonna work on it. We're gonna see. Hey Tracy. So now I want to bring this chin in. Because he does kind of have a deeper, longer chin. It comes to a point. And I think that right there will work. So as you can see, I've got the mouth in the area. I've got the outline where I want to put the chin. Now I'm going to go ahead and start getting this carved out and down here, because I do want the chin, I want everything around the chin to be deeper. So that's what we're going to go with. And don't forget, guys, if you haven't, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It's a good time. Hey, Uncle Steve. I've got your stickers. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. I got your stickers, and Woodchucker sent me a box of wood. So I have his stickers. So I'm going to be doing a video next week of the mail call that came in. That's pretty cool. The electric whittler asked me yesterday, hey Raja, if this was for the Kutzel competition. I didn't know Kutzel was having a competition for Halloween, so no, it's not. But if they do one next year, maybe I will. This is really, besides the pumpkin, the first horror-related carve I tried to make. So we'll see. Speaking of Kutzels, I'm going to need a new taper burr, because this one's getting old. Old. I'll tell you. So I mentioned this yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. But creepiest part of the movie is they're at the cat lady's house. And they're trying to get a hold of police. Well, they pan over to the cornfield, and you see a scarecrow in there. And then the characters in the movie are trying to get the cat lady to let them call the police, and they pan back over to the cornfield, and this dude is standing in front of the scarecrow. It always gets me. Always gets me. And the way they do their backlighting in that movie is pretty cool. Go a little bit deeper in there. Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is the movie. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to hit that like button, please. Some dust in my throat. So are you guys having a good Sunday? Oh yeah, sorry. Jeepers Creepers is a horror movie. Back from the late 80s, early 90s, I think. Maybe later than that. But it's kind of a classic in a sense. Yeah, Mike, it's not bad. It's pretty good. Cannot complain yet. And I know what I'm gonna do. I do want to take this down a little bit deeper on the chin, because coming through here, he doesn't have a dimple, but he kind of has a shape line that comes up somewhat like that if you look at the photo. But I want to take this deep enough to where when I do the mouth and the chin, I can kind of make a little slope coming down from the lip and then up to the point of the chin. That's going to be my goal. So I'm going to take this down a little more. A little bit more deeper. All right. So definitely around it, I want to get it deeper because I want it to show some separation and make it look like the chin is away from the neck. Not necessarily going to put a neck on them, but you'll know it's a chin. So I asked this yesterday, and I've seen some pretty cool responses, so I'm going to ask it again today. If you were to carve, or if you could carve, or wanted to carve, a horror person for Halloween, who would you choose? Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Dracula, Frankenstein, who? Who would be your you want to carve? The Clown in It, Freddy Krueger, yeah, those are good. Frankenstein, Pennywise, Jigsaw. Scarecrow in your novel, cool. Yeah, Frankenstein, I don't want to say he seems like he would be easy, but I feel like it would be a fun one to do. Maybe I should have chose Frankenstein as my first monster carve. Per se. But Frankenstein does definitely seem like it would be fun. See you later, Dan. Thank you for coming. Hit that like button on the way out, bud, please. Thank you. And if you guys haven't yet, slap your channels in the comments so maybe you can pick up a subscriber or two. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is leave the rest of that area for not on a live, because I can sit there and carve for a day getting that where I want it. But I definitely want it to be a little bit deeper. So I'm going to cut it deeper, give me a guide, and then later on, when I'm not live, I will get the big chunk of that meat out. I got a fan on today and it doesn't seem to be doing very good with blowing the dust. That's all right. All right. Hey, Mustafa. All right, so who is oh, the little guy from Trick or Treat. Yeah, that guy's pretty cool. Who is going to dress up for Halloween this year? Who feels that they are still young enough to dress up for Halloween? I will. At some point in time. Awesome. What are you going to go out as? Nice. Oh, Captain Spaulding is good. Hey, Tinsless. So what I'm doing here is just like you would take the forehead back to give it the roundness. I'm trying to just get this center section carved a little deeper before I get too deep. I want to get it started to bring the point of the chin up a little bit, which is not only what he looks like, but I think it's going to look cool. And then another day, I'm going to work on the mouth, the age lines, the texture lines, and everything. So this is definitely a work in progress. And don't forget, if you haven't, hit that like and subscribe button. Looks like there's 200 people watching. So let's see if we can hit another 100 likes again. We hit over 100 likes last night, and that was awesome. Well appreciated. Hey, day-to-day adventures. So I don't know how well you can see it, but it's starting to form how I like it or how I want it. Let me see if I can turn it. So obviously the mouth is going to be right here, and the chin's going to come down, and I want the point to slope. Let's see. Try and turn it to where you can see it. Hey, Mike Mitchell. It's not very good. Well, that might be it. Can you see how it's starting to slope up right here? Maybe better face forward. Depends on what I'm carving. No, that's not good. Depends on what I'm carving. I can knock some carvings out in a couple hours, but stuff like this that I want detailed, it could take a few hours a day. Just depends on how long I work on it. Awesome. It's starting to look pretty cool. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so now I think what I'm going to work on, I'm going to save the mouth because I want to think about that. When I carve in the lips and stuff, I want to leave an inside section, not a hollow section, because I really want to try and carve the fangs into it. But so far, I think I'm pretty happy with how it's starting to come out. Chin's looking good, the mouth gonna be in place, looking good. The nose is all right. I got to work a little bit more on the nose, push it back a little bit, and kind of give it a more stubby, round look. So far, I'm pleased. For never carving this dude, I'm happy. Matter of fact, I will work on the nose just a little bit. And generally, for this big of a piece, you might go with a bigger nose, but with the picture that I'm using as reference, he has more of a stubbier, pushed up nose. Rounded in the front and kind of going up. And what I'm doing is, this is obviously going to be his top lip right here. So I'm just kind of trying to round it back into the nose a little bit, not too much, but to get it cohesive with coming into the nose and then lifting up like your lip. There are other carvers out there that can really explain what it is that they're doing and how to do it. Me, hey Jerry, I see the picture. I know what I want to do. I'm just trying to make my hands do what my mind is thinking. And then eventually I will get good enough to be able to verbalize how to do it. Right now, I'm learning like everybody else. And it is cold today. Yeah, Tim, it's cold here in Michigan. We had a rain come through, and oh my goodness, it chilled out. I'm sitting out here with shorts and the fan on, and I've got snot rockets coming out of my nose. Sorry. And one thing I noticed about the photo, it's called mind muscle connection theory. Yes, you're right, my wife. That is what it is called. And everybody, Jane Robbins is in the chat, and that is my wife. Say hello to my wife. Even if you're a stalker and not participating in chat, say hello to my wife. One thing that was cool about the picture is how his nose slopes back and then just melds in with all the gooiness, and that's cool. That's what I'm trying to get here. Hey Connor. And don't forget, everybody, if you can, hit that like button. I appreciate it. I will keep reminding you because it was really cool to hit 100 likes last night. Awesome. You know, I have been known to shovel snow in my underwear. Awesome, Dad. Thank you. Yeah, if we can get a couple more likes to hit that 100, that would be awesome. Yeah, and now that my wife has brought it up, I have been known to shovel snow in my underwear. I am proud of the fact that I have. Neighbors aren't too proud of it, but hey, you know, when it's got to get done, why waste time putting clothes on? No, no stencil. Matt Carves has, man, I just can't say enough about Matt Carves. He has a really, really good technique at mapping out like the face and stuff. And I somewhat use that here, but because this doesn't need to be perfect, I used it to start. So I figured out where I wanted my eyes and my nose and measured out from the top, and then went somewhat equal portions to lay everything out so it looks, you know, like it's supposed to. And then from there, I just get the nose in place. For me, I feel like the nose and the eyes are your important features to get in first, and then I work everything around that. So, and I think pretty much everybody does that, but that's what I try to do. Tim List, you know, that shrinkage. You've only got so much room to shrink, and then the rest of it is, you know, it's just kind of there. So yeah, so if you guys haven't yet and you're interested, check out Matt Carves, because he has really great beginning how-to videos. You can use a stencil. You can use a stencil and stencil it on. Some people do that with flat wood rather than the round wood. And they make projects like that. Matter of fact, Tim List, I don't know if he used a stencil, but I know he used a piece of paper and drew out his dad's World War II battleship and then burned it on, I believe. I don't think he carved it, but you can carve it. So yeah, definitely you can do that. But if you haven't subscribed to Matt Carves, go to Matt Carves and subscribe, and the man will teach you a few things. But only go after you hit that like button. All right. I'm going to go for about 15 more minutes. So right now, I'm going to work around here. You know what? I'll talk to you guys for a little bit more. That's awesome. Transfer paper. I know people like the old Xerox type paper. I forgot what it's called, but you lay it down, you draw, you take your piece of paper, put that down, put your paper on top of it, stencil out what you want, and then it transfers the ink to the wood. Yes, transfer paper. Carbon paper. See? That's why you guys in chat are so much smarter than me, because I cannot think of those important words. Could be. I haven't used it very often also. But, so what do you think? Is he starting to look like something? I think he does. I think he's going to look really cool. I think what I'm going to do is put some stress lines here where his eyes are. And then work on some lines down here. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. All right. Yeah, and if you can draw it on paper, you can definitely carve it. But that's kind of weird because, believe it or not, I can't draw. I can't really carve either, but I'm doing my best at learning. And that there is what it is about. Now, what I use there, I have a worn out flame burr that's just packed with crud. When I want to use not take away a lot of wood, I will use that. Like I wanted to clean up these spots right here in the eyes, and that works out perfect because it doesn't take out a ton of wood. So right now, before I call it a night, which I'll be calling it probably about 10 or 15 minutes. I think I said 15 minutes 20 minutes ago, but that's normally how it goes. Right now, I'm going to take a finer tip where I put these grooves in, and I'm going to use it to go deeper, and then in some of the long areas I'm going to put another line through, because I think I'm going to paint this guy. We'll see. And I want to be able to have some lines to really put in some cool definition. It does, but I broke it. I broke the reverse, and I'm really bummed about that, but I'm not buying another flex shaft until this one takes a poop. I somehow broke the reverse. It would be so much easier to use. Hey Grumpy, glad to see you're here. Yeah, I wish I would not have broke it. So yes, it sucks. I've actually thought about opening the case to see if it's a simple fix, but it doesn't even try to power on. And I'm afraid if I open the case, then I'm gonna break something else. So I think I'm just gonna wait until this one takes a crap, or I need another one. Which I will say, with that being said, this VVOR flex shaft that I have, the motor, man, it's been pretty reliable. I broke that, not the manufacturer. I've put this thing through some trenches, packing it up, moving it, setting it up, taking it down, really try and jab into this wood like I probably shouldn't, and it's held up like a champ. I mean, it's done very well for me, so I'm not in any way going to complain about the flex shaft, because it's done everything I've asked it to do. And yeah, Tim, I saw you say about the other side of the face. Yes, I think if I had the reverse working right, it would be so much easier to mirror image each side, which I think I'm getting better at. I'm not 100% sure. It seems like it, but that would make it so much easier. And yes, this is the VVOR 1200. So what I'm going to end up working on with this, because I will end up calling the live done in about 5 minutes. I'm going to work on the mouth, getting that cut out, hopefully the way that I have in my mind. Welcome back, Dan. Pretty happy with the forehead, the way that's looking. I may go through and put some smaller lines in just to give more of the wrinkle marks. So that'll be cool. I like the center section. And the nose, I really wanted to get some lines in there to break it up, give it that horror look. And then I'm hoping as I get into this more, it doesn't look like a beard and it will look like the skin, which that's going to be where the paint's going to come in, I believe. The eyes, I am leaving the eyes like they are because I like that look of the sunken eyeballs. Just deep, deep, deep look. And if you can see, I went deep in those eyes for the shadows. So that's cool. I'm pleased with it. So I'm going to call it a night and leave it like it is. Let it sit, take a picture of it, look at it, see what I want to change. Thank you, Dan, which is what I do most of the time. I will carve something. Thank you, everybody. Look at it, see what I want to change on it, and go from there. I do know that this area in here, I will take down off camera. If you can see all the ink marks. This area is coming down more. I want that chin to pop a little bit better. So that I will do off camera. That's just going to take too long. Want to get the mouth in, the lips shaped, and then get this chin a little bit more defined. And then once I do that, he is going to have a little mark coming through here. Nothing crazy, just like a dimple. And then put some gore into that. So that's it. That is it for right now. Can't put, somebody asked earlier how long. Man, I can't put a time frame on it. You know, I'll work on an hour here, hour there, hour and a half here, hour and a half there, and see what I can get done. So far, I'm pleased with the way it's coming out. I really hope I can get the mouth the way I want to get it. And we're going to try that. Have a good night, Tracy. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for being here on the way out. Hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thank you, Tim. And you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm gonna go see who texted me. Of course, as soon as I started the live, always happens. So you guys have a great night. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, leave some comments. See you soon.